This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 16th day of May in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're reporting tonight. Quick action by members of the Guyana Police Force based at the Narcotics Branch Eve Leary averted a major fire this morning. According to Police Commissioner Acting Clifford Hicken, it was just after 10 o'clock this morning when an alarm was raised after smoke was seen emanating from a room in the Narcotics Branch section at CID. He said police officers who were on duty stepped into action to douse the blaze as the fire service was summoned.
Having collaborated with the fire service, the police would have had some initial training, and so there's a fire drill will be activated whenever there's a report of fire. And so the gong was sound. They activated a fire drill from the police perspective. At the same time, we called the fire services and the other agency in relation to GPL and the rest of it. And so the initial response by the police in collaboration with members of the fire service, they quickly de-escalated the fire, and so as you can see, normalcy is prevailing.
Acting Fire Chief Gregory Wickham, who was also at the scene, praised the quick action of police officers in containing the blaze while the fire service was on its way. He said the move assisted in ensuring the fire did not get out of hand.
We'll have a turnout of 5 tenders, 2 from Central and 1 each from Campbellville, Alberton and West Rumfeld. So that response came, but I want to give shout out, thanks and good work to the members of the police force who would have used the training that they would have received from the Guyana Fire Service in doing basic firefighting with the use of fire extinguishers. That would have helped to keep the fire under control.
The damage caused by the fire is being assessed, and an investigation into its cause has been launched. Both the fire chief and the police commissioner have indicated that the public will be updated on the findings when those findings become available. A few months ago, another fire in a different section of the police headquarters at Eve Leary gutted the Office of Professional Responsibility. The fire service has never released its findings into the probe of that fire. More news coming up in just a moment.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
With the approval of each new oil production project offshore, more jobs and opportunities are created onshore. And not just for those working in the oil and gas sector, more Guyanese are providing support services in transportation, catering, logistics, accommodation and hospitality, among many others. Oil and gas development is fueling Guyana's transformation.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Guyana, get ready for the biggest Independence Weekend. Genesis Band and Utopia Launch 2022. 7 exciting events, starting with Touchdown Cool Effect with Patrice Roberts on Wednesday, May 25th. Stinging Nettles, El Dorado Rum Inclusive with Soca Sensation Kess the Band on Thursday, May 26th. Moderation with rising dancehall artists Kang, Chanel Mir, Drew Tobin, Gully Ras, and Kush, as well as Chutney Ray featuring Ravi B, Kenneth Salek, Bacardi, Tony Cuts, Bonita Willie, and Shakti Stray. Springs on Friday, May 27th.
Stick and Dirty Duvet as well as Eden
A Golden White Toga Party.
on Saturday, May 28th.
And Soca and Wine.
On Sunday, May 29th.
Are you ready? Are you ready
To see the hot costumes for Cricket Carnival
that will be displayed at every event?
brought to you by Hits and Jams Entertainment
King Leo Promotion.
and the Cricket Carnival Committee.
Follow our social media pages at Genesis Band for more details.
Yo, Atlanta is a big bad city vice pushing out the GT. Don't forget the 29th of May we got in Bliss launch. Yeah, Atlanta we say city vice mushy live. You know, so we're gonna do some covers like bye 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 bye. Must get a ting ting ting. Must get a ting. How we out at GT. All of the girls them a wine and shake. The Guyanese woman them a number one. Yo, flashback we say. Bliss launch 29th of May. Atlanta city vice mushy live. Keep my name out your mouth.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get your
color.
Buster $100. Come get your Buster $100.
With a menu of measures already announced by the government to assist persons in the construction of their homes with the removal of the value-added tax from some building materials, President Irfanali this afternoon announced that his administration will be setting up a special unit to assist persons who own land and are finding it difficult to begin the construction of their homes.
The government is proposing to launch a home construction assistance facility, which will work in the following manner. Persons who have a house lot and wish to receive government help to construct a home on that lot may register their interest with a unit that will be establishing soon for this purpose. At the time of registration, the applicant will also select the preference from among 3 standard pre-designed models at the cost of $7 million, $9 million, and $12 million, depending on the applicant income level. Government will support the applicant through the process of applying for bank financing to meet the cost of constructing the home, and will also look at helping in the initial phase of construction by the releasing of resources to expedite the construction process and help in bringing the banks, the homeowners together so that you can own your own home.
Under the initiative, the president also said a special housing unit will also take on the construction of homes for landowners.
Government will also undertake the construction of home on behalf of the applicant and deliver to the applicant a complete home in accordance with the option selected. We expect that this measure will help to drastically accelerate the capacity of Guyanese families to own and occupy their own home and house lots that they've already owned.
According to the president, he believes the initiative will assist with easing the burden of persons having to pay rent and will also assist in housing schemes being developed faster. A timeline for the establishment of the new housing unit was not presented. The government has been working to meet its campaign promise of distributing 50,000 house lots in 5 years. Over the years, while many persons have been able to acquire house lots, it has been difficult for them to begin the building of their homes for various financial reasons. For persons already building their homes, it was announced today that the value-added tax will be removed from sheetrock and concrete boards temporarily to assist them with their construction. The government has drafted new legislation which could see tougher action being taken against drunk drivers and business owners who continue to sell alcohol to persons who are already intoxicated. The announcement of the proposed measures came on the heels of several accidents involving drunk drivers. Many of those accidents resulted in loss of life and serious injuries. In a statement over the weekend, President Irfan Ali said he has heard the pleas of Guyanese and he knows road safety is a big concern in the country, noting that driving while under the influence is causing too many deaths and too much trauma for too many. The proposed bill seeks to amend the Intoxicating Liquor Licensing Act, Chapter 8221, for the purpose of strengthening provisions that prohibit drunkenness on premises that are licensed to sell alcohol. The bill also seeks to expand the duties placed on a license holder to not permit drunkenness on his or her property and creates new duties for that license holder to discourage drinking and driving. The new subsection provides that a license holder shall not permit any drunkenness on his premises, nor sell, give, or barter, or allow another person to sell, give, or barter intoxicating liquor to a drunken person within the premises. Additionally, that license holder is mandated to not sell, give, or barter intoxicating liquor to a person that he knows is likely to leave the premises by driving a motor vehicle unless a designated driver is identified. A license holder will also be required to post signs and ensure that announcements are made on the premises that discourage drinking and driving. In addition, the proposed legislation will also seek to increase the fines for breach of these duties by the license holder from $2,000 to $100,000 for a first offense and from $5,000 to $200,000 for a second offense. The amendment will also make it mandatory that a license holder refuses to admit to his or her business or premises any person who is drunk, violent, quarrelsome, or disorderly. A breach of that provision could see a fine of $100,000. In an effort to assist residents of riverine and hinterland communities who are facing hardships with the rising cost of living, President Irfan Ali this afternoon announced that those residents will soon benefit from a one-off $25,000 cash grant. Only residents of the hinterland and riverine communities will benefit from the latest cash grant, which the president said is expected to total more than $800 million. He did not indicate a timeline for the distribution of the grant. In making the announcement this afternoon via a live broadcast, the president said he hopes that the measure will assist persons from the hinterland and riverine communities, as it will also pump additional money and resources into the local economy. The government had carried out a national COVID-19 cash grant initiative over a year ago. Thousands benefited from the grant, but there were thousands more who are still to receive anything. The president said his government will remain committed to assisting citizens to address the problems being faced by the rising cost of living, which is being blamed on external factors. The Public Accounts Committee today flagged several discrepancies relating to projects undertaken in Region 2 during the year 2017. The most glaring of them all was for a project which included the construction of a pump house in the region. But that pump house was never constructed, although monies were made available and vouchers showed that payments were made. It was government member in the Public Accounts Committee, Dharam Kumar Siraj, who first raised the issue with the PAC. However, opposition member Ganesh Mahipal questioned Region 2 REO about the discrepancies found. The PAC heard that the then vice chair, along with the engineer and other officers from the region, signed off on the documents for a final payment to be made on the pump house. Mahipal argued that there should be consequences taken against the regional officials, since monies were paid out by them for a project that was never completed.
This is high-level corruption that is facilitated by the chairman of the Works Committee. And I don't believe, sir, that we should rest this like this.
Mahipal also argued that it cannot be a case of a simple mistake, since a pump house is something tangible. He said such practices are avoidable if technical officers who are responsible to advise the REO on payments for projects undertaken did their jobs.
In this instance, you have the chairman of the Works Committee, who was a councillor elected by the people of Region 2,
Keep going
and was the vice chairman of the region. Yes, I'm going to keep going.
PAC Chairman German Figuera agreed with Mr. Mahipal to have the former vice chair summoned to the committee to answer to the allegations made. An up-and-coming New York-based Guyanese artist, Kurt C.J. Johnson, was gunned down early on Sunday morning while leaving a party in New Jersey. Details surrounding the shooting are sketchy, but it is suspected that robbery might have been a motive, although there are other questions. There are reports that he was shot at least 7 times. As news of his death spread across social media, other Guyanese musicians and entertainers expressed their shock and sympathy, remembering CJ as a lover of good music and a great performer. Guyanese singer and songwriter Fujo said CJ will forever be remembered. He said the death has hit him hard, since the two met recently to discuss some collaborative work. Another Guyanese artist, Gadiel Henry, reflected on one of the latest releases from CJ, a song titled Goodbye. He said he never realized that a young singer was really saying goodbye to everyone in that last song. And local rapper Isen Benzi shared on his Facebook page that the singer's death has left him in disbelief. CJ was listed among the group of Guyanese singers to perform at the Guyana Day celebrations in New York in August. In a media feature a year ago, CJ spoke about his love for music and representing Guyana on the international stage. He migrated to the US in 2002 and got involved in the music industry, and almost immediately launched his own record label and a number of singles over the years. He had explained that he launched that record label to give other musicians a chance to showcase their talent and be seen and heard in a crowded music market. Investigations into his shooting death are ongoing.
Yo, Atlanta is a big bad city vice pushing out the GT. Don't forget the 29th we got Bliss launch. Yeah, Atlanta we say city vice mushy live, you know, so we're gonna do some covers like bye. Must get a thing, must get a thing. How we out a GT. All of the guys them a wine and shake them. Guyanese woman them a number one. Yo, flashback we say Bliss launch 29th be Atlanta city vice mushy live. Keep my name out your mouth.
Have you heard the news?
CPL is back.
Done! Yes!
The finals coming to Guyana.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's going to be a carnival of cricket.
It's going to be a carnival of cricket.
It's going to be a carnival of cricket.
See you there.
Tell it to your enemy and tell it to your friend. Watch Guyanese girl, them a hurtle, and them a do it in a circle. Watch me, missing each and every year. Flashback come again. Tell it to your enemy and tell it to your friend. Well, if you're ready for the party, yeah then. Flashback, tell them a the trend. Follow me sing. This are not talking about a fly nor no bees. No girl can whine like Guyanese. Watch the young them a do it in a circle. Guyanese girls them a dance in a circle. Hear me and say no, me go banter. You know I sound boy killer represent the Golden Smile family. You know say flashback old school party. You know say oh the vibes is plenty. Slow down.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, $100. Come get your Buster, $100. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Cuba's ailing economy has begun to recover in some sectors after 2 years of pandemic-induced contraction. But soaring global prices for food and fuel require audacious measures to tame inflation, the economy minister in Cuba told Cuban lawmakers. The official said Cuba saw a 38% increase in exports in the first quarter of this year. boosted by the rising price of nickel, a top mineral export. He said the inflation had also slowed despite upward pressure on the price of imports. But the price Cuba paid for imported goods jumped by nearly $700 million in the first quarter, outpacing the country's modest gains in exports, a predicament the official attributed to imported inflation driven by fast rising prices for such products as fuel, corn for feeding livestock, and wheat. U.S. sanctions and soaring food and fuel prices, in part due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, have put Cuba's tepid recovery at risk and threatened to worsen shortages, already forcing citizens to line up for food, medicine, and other basic goods. Police in Honduras have captured a woman accused of leading a drug trafficking clan with 4 of her sons. 61-year-old Herlinda Bobadilla was arrested in the mountains of Honduras after a shootout in which her 32-year-old son, Tito Montes, was killed. U.S. authorities had requested that she and her sons Tito and Juan Carlos Montes be extradited to the U.S. and had offered a $5 million reward for each. 35-year-old Juan Carlos Montes remains on the run. Police in Honduras say they received many tip-offs after the U.S. State Department offered a multi-million-dollar reward for the 3 2 weeks ago. They say they tracked down Herlinda Bobadilla and her sons Tito and Juan Carlos in the mountains of Colon province using aerial surveillance. Special forces were deployed to the area, and following an intense confrontation, they arrested Herlinda Bobadilla. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that face masks are no longer required for passengers flying to many EU destinations, but Germany, Greece, Italy, and Spain are among countries keeping the mask rule. The EU's easing from today is in line with changing COVID guidance in public transport across Europe. France has lifted the face mask obligation on planes, trains, and buses. But Italy requires passengers to keep wearing the more protective FFP2 mask on public transportation until the 15th of June. In the 27-nation EU, the other countries that still require face masks on flights are Portugal, Austria, Cyprus, Estonia, Lithuania, Malta, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. The EU-wide easing was announced last week by the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.